All right, welcome back, free radicals of all shapes, sizes, colors, denominations, orientations. My name is Dave, and I'm the Radical Independent, and so are you if you are watching this channel. Thanks for your support. I need your support very much here on YouTube as some things are happening behind the scenes, and it's making everybody very anxious. Let's just put it that way. Anyone who's got political content on YouTube, it seems as though, regardless if it comes in from the left, the right, wherever, Tim Pool, who I think is fairly independent, he's another guy who's been talking about this lately. I need your support. I need you to hang with me via Patreon and PayPal if you can. Revenue continues to drop, even though I'm pretty much getting the same amount of viewership. All right, so enough about that. I talk about that incessantly, and it stinks that I have to talk about that so much. Here's a poll that puts Tulsi Gabbard in first place. 21%. This is a national poll. The category 2016 Trump voters. These are people that voted for Donald Trump. Dem primary. It was taken between November 10th and November 12th. It's sponsored by The Economist and YouGov. Tulsi Gabbard at 21%. Why is this extremely significant? Well, because in order to win a general election, we keep hearing about electability, right? You need electability. And Tulsi Gabbard obviously has that kind of electability. Behind Tulsi is Bernie Sanders at 15. So your two most independent candidates. And that's how I wish Bernie and his crowd would portray Bernie Sanders. Again, I have arguments about the S word, and I continue to have them. Notice how Tulsi Gabbard doesn't say, I'm a Democrat socialist. What she says typically is, I go issue by issue, and I look at the issue, and then I make a decision based on the issue. Tulsi Gabbard in first place in this poll. Andrew Yang, by the way, in third. So your top three independents. Steyer, I don't understand at 7. I don't understand the fascination with him. That might be just a boomerang, like a buyer's regret. Trump voters who voted for the billionaire, right, will vote for yet another billionaire who they see as maybe continuing Trump's legacy, whatever that might be. And look at poor Joe Biden. He's down with Castro and Bennett. I mean, and look, hey, let's take a look at this. Elizabeth Warren, and I've been telling these people, and Pete Buttigieg, okay, both at 3% with Trump voters. Trump voters do not like those two candidates, and those two candidates are the favorite of the mainstream brainwashing media. The gaslighting media telling you, oh, Warren, oh, Pete, Mayor Pete, Warren. And part of it is, here's the Trump voter, okay, because I was one of them, and a lot like the Bernie voter, actually. We sense, them and us, whatever, however you want to look at it, we sense when the establishment is trying to push someone on us. It's like someone telling you, well, this is what's good for you. This is what you should eat. This is the kind of food, and you think to yourself, no, I'm going to make my own decision. I don't like the way that tastes. I'm not going to even know. And Tulsi Gabbard, who, again, would appeal across party lines, she would do the real hardcore progressive things that need to get done to save the country. And she would be an awesome commander-in-chief in the sense, number one, that she would unify the country. She would not be a polarizing figure. And this is what these polls are all about. These polls are not for the constant daily, or at least this poll anyway. I think people are really tired of the political horse race 24 hours a day. The Trump spectacle, and I didn't think about this when I voted for Trump, the 24-hour-a-day news cycle that feeds off of Donald Trump becomes irritating, distracting, It's, again, for those people that have TDS, those people wake up in the morning and they cannot believe Donald Trump is president and they can't focus. And what does the media do? They push that even more on those poor people. And I feel sympathy for them. I think what they're doing is ridiculous, and I think they ought to just live their lives. And look, again, Trump, yes. Is he a horrible president? In many ways, yes. But for many who didn't want the Elizabeth Warren or the Mayor Pete or the Amy Klobuchar thrown at them, all right, and said, this is your cure for Donald Trump, those people have rejected that. They'd rather go with Bernie. They may think to themselves, hey, look, I know Bernie, he's been branded as a socialist over and over again, and people in his camp continue to use that word unfiltered. And I think to myself, if I'm a political strategist, I'm saying don't say that word. Maybe in the general election. But the problem is there's been enough stuff out there that's been thrown out there that Trump and others are going to use in a general to try to hurt Bernie. Whereas Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have that baggage because she's played this differently. And that's why she's at 21%. A fairly commanding lead among Trump voters, 21 to 15. And to me, I think this is indicative of how you win a general election. Now, the Democrats, if they really wanted to win, they'd take a look at this poll and go, well, Biden's at 6%, Tulsi's at 21%. Why wouldn't we want Tulsi as the nominee? Are they not that concerned? See, they want power on their terms. They want to continue to have all their friendly relationships with rogue countries like Saudi Arabia. They want to have their relationships with all of the weapons manufacturers all across the country and all the lobbyists and all of the big donors. These are things that Tulsi Gabbard doesn't do. And then you got Bernie, who's right behind her, and he's of the same ilk in that regard. So, impressive poll for Tulsi Gabbard, and I know a lot of folks are going to discount this, and they're going to say, well, Trump voters aren't voting in the Dem primary. No, but Trump voters would be voting in the general election. And people who are voting in the primary need to see this so they can say, you know what? I want to win this election. I want to get Trump out. I want my kids to be proud of the president we have. I want them to look up to the president like we used to do in the old days. Used to look and go, hey, he's a, well, it's always been a man, so I don't want to, I'm not sexist here, but there's a guy, was John F. Kennedy we could be proud of. Jimmy Carter, when he took office, a lot of people were excited about Jimmy Carter. As a kid, I remember people looked up to Ronald Reagan, whether you liked him or not. I think when people started not to look up to presidents, it started with the Bushes. Initially, everybody thought, oh, George H.W. Bush, I'm looking at the character of the man. All right, and obviously Clinton tarnished the office, and a lot of people like Obama because he was a great politician. We need to get back to where not only is the president skillful at politics, but is also real and truly represents the people who elected him or her. And Tulsi Gabbard, she is like a home run, a grand slam. And we've got to continue to talk about this because this is a big deal. Tulsi Gabbard, #1 in Trump voters. And this is a recent poll. And will the Democratic Party listen to this? Probably not. Because, again, I already outlined the reasons why. All right, so I'm done with this video. I will be back. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to help me out, again, via PayPal or Patreon. Some really weird stuff is happening behind the scenes with YouTube, and it's a lot of us are very anxious. Let's just put it that way. All right, see you soon.